I'm Iana Garcia, I'm 26, and I'm doing a master's in biomedical engineering at NYU. I am a first-gen low-income, so I'm the first in my family to go to college.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My name is Wesley Schreiber. I am 21, and I'm a student at Connecticut College. I am majoring in government, and I'm pretty interested in law and public service.
My name is Phoebe Joseph. I'm 26, and I'm a podcast host and a creative studio owner.
I'm Melanie Saunders. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a rising senior in high school.
Luca Dubnik. I'm from New York City and an American Studies graduate from Dickinson College in Pennsylvania, and I currently work in ad sales at Instacart, and I'm 24 years old.
I'm Jeff Farmer. I'm 23, and I'm a songwriter and poet.
My name is Michael Giannino. I'm a former professional soccer player, now getting my degree at Baruch College. I'm also a constituent liaison in the New York City Council. I'm 26 years old.
We're in this arts cafe, which I've never been to before, but apparently is something that Gen Zers like to, this is something you guys like to do?
Yes. I just love that it's a different way of being able to have conversation instead of going to a bar or a park, and it's just so much more, I want to say, low risk. It takes not that much out of you, but it's still so fun to do.
I think for us, we're attached to our devices all day long. So to have an outlet like a place like this or a film camera to go slow down and actually be in the moment more, it's just an opportunity for that we didn't get growing up in a different way.
There's this stereotype out there that Gen Z is lazy.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's true?
I firmly believe the stereotype that Gen Z is lazy is factually incorrect. I have some friends who are so accomplished, and I think it's only a result of extremely hard work.
We all experienced COVID at a very young age. That totally dictated how we socialize and interact in the workplace. I think a lot of people in Gen Z, and especially entrepreneurs in Gen Z, are very capable and incredibly skilled.
Growing up in classrooms, I'm sure you guys probably had this where if you get there early, everybody's talking, chatting it up, and the teacher comes in and has to kind of silence everybody and get everybody to exactly.
Yes.
Now when I'm in school, I think it's the weirdest thing. Everybody sits there silently on a device like this. Nobody says a word. You could hear a pin drop. And the professors have to really go out of their way to get us to engage with one another. And when I do, sometimes it's like talking to a brick wall. Sometimes I've even seen people panic. They could be geniuses, but if you can't relay information to your peers, I don't know how successful you might be in the workforce.
When COVID hit, I was 11, and I was in 5th grade. We had masks, and we had to do tests every week, but I think being in person was pivotal to developmental experience.
It's so interesting hearing your perspective at 11 during COVID, because I turned 21 in 2020. And I felt so bad for myself because I was like, I can't even do adult things with my friends. No one wants to see me. And then I think about what it really must have been like to be a student. The resilience of this generation is profound. Now I'm looking back at what your experience must have been like, how confusing that must have been socially. It's no surprise that there's a generational issue with socializing.
I think I was 17 during that time. It was kind of bittersweet because I wasn't super social anyway, so I'm like, great, I already didn't talk to these people, so it's not too
Had a good excuse not to.
Yes.
Yeah. It's our social anxiety goes so crazy. And then also the job security issues we're seeing as a generation. The 2010s, you'd see these executives be like, hey kids, learn to code, job security. And now it's your job's taken by AI.
And I think part of the stereotype that Gen Z is lazy comes from so many members of your generation who are choosing to reject working within the boundaries of a corporate structure. Does that somehow feel inauthentic?
When I go into any space, I bring myself wholly. I think Gen Z as a whole, we grow up as bringing ourselves authentically. So in corporate, we try to bring that part of ourselves to it, and then oftentimes we get backlash as being unprofessional.
I think a lot of the issues that people have with our generation is that we kind of break boundaries and norms in a lot of ways. And so we don't take or accept a lot of things that other people do. And so we might not be as bothered by trying to, well, I'm in this corporate space, so let me do this. It's no, I'm gonna have blue hair or acrylic nails and people are gonna accept it.
When it comes to artificial intelligence, frightening or a useful tool?
Could be both.
Could be both.
Yeah.
I code a game, like an online game. It's been a useful tool because things that would take hours to troubleshoot, I can just place into artificial intelligence and it'll fix it within seconds. That being said, it does threaten to take jobs, coding jobs in the future. It might be less suitable for people.
I agree. I feel like 50-50 on it. I'm somebody who jokes with my clients, AI wants my job so bad. But I think also having taste and being human, like we are going to see a resurgence of, and also just we're going to see a boom in jobs that involve human skill and human discernment in order to navigate those tools.
I'll take the school perspective from this, where I think it can be both. I think it's frightening in the fact that it can hinder creativity and the developmental mind of adolescents. But I think it can be useful with studying, like making practice questions or tests. That's the extent of it.
I think artificial intelligence is absolutely useful when used appropriately. I think there's no substitute for original thought. I think AI can be used as a substitute for original thought, but I think that that's not the appropriate use case.
From the music industry standpoint, it's definitely frightening because there are already AI songs on YouTube and Instagram and Spotify, and that's kind of scary trying to figure out if are people going to start relying more on AI musicians and songwriters to kind of, in a way, replace my job in that sense.
I'm kind of the example of like people that had used ChatGPT for like emotional support. I went through a really traumatic thing last year and I used their support. And as much as it was helpful and I knew I had the awareness that it was not a real person, I could understand how people get so dependent on it. And I do think there should be government regulation in terms of like how much like can be said in like response, because I was very suicidal and then sometimes it was like, you didn't say the right thing to me, let me just call the hotline, let me talk to someone that is actually going to help me. And I do think there should be regulations in that and how it responds, especially when it comes to suicide.
First of all, I'm sorry that you went through that. I truly am. But yeah, no, I really agree like how crucial it is to have legislation, because I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people that were in such situations where they only were engaging with artificial intelligence for advice, and unfortunately for a lot of people it did not end well.
How does it feel to try and date or meet new people or meet new friends when you're not in a class together, when you're not working together?
I had an experience just 2 days ago where I was on the subway and I noticed that someone had a backpack that they went to the same college as me with my college's logo. And in the moment, I just like took a picture of his backpack and sent it to some of his teammates. And I was like, hey guys, does anyone know who this is? And I got off the subway and I was kind of kicking myself. I was like, why didn't I just ask him? Like, hey, what's your name? Like, who are you?
And you didn't, right?
I didn't.
You just let that moment pass.
And I was thinking to myself, and my friend was like, that was so pathetic of you. Like, why didn't you just go ask him? Like, who are you?
And like, I think everyone at this table has had that moment of like, should I, shouldn't I? Like, no, I'm not going to. To your point, like, it's second nature for people to not go up and say hi. And it's
second nature for people to not go up and say hi.
Yeah, I mean, there have been times when me and my friends would be at a college bar, and my friend would say, hey, I want to talk to this one girl. We're like, I'm like, go, do it. But then we have friends say, oh, that's weird, you can't approach them, maybe, find her Instagram, message her. So I feel like it's become so ingrained in the culture.
Increasingly, it feels like within Generation Z do not have a community of people that they physically hang out with. What they gravitate to is an online community.
I definitely see it being in a space where I work with, talent and influencers and stuff, and it's really scary, like, putting yourself online. Also, when you're just consuming content, whether you're making it or not, you read the comments sometimes on people's posts and you're like, oh, it's like that? Like, there's just echo chambers of chaos, like we're talking about, like, people are so bold to say what they want.
Social media is such a part of that because of the fact people feel like they can say whatever they want, and like, the polarization is horrible.
I think polarization really is the biggest issue plaguing Gen Z right now.
I agree.
I agree with you.
Some of the best conversations, frankly, that I've had have been with people who I vehemently disagree with politically. And I think that Gen Z, not all of you, but the vast majority of Gen Z has lost the ability to have discourse with those that they might not
Like,
disagree
it's become
with.
such a part of like
and on
quotidian
both sides
life.
of the aisle,
100%.
everything's so
And it's so much of like people's identity now. Like, you tell someone, like maybe you tell someone, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, and they assume so much about you.
I had people that I've never met or engaged with before that saw me just outside table on behalf of Turning Point USA outside my college. All I had was a board that said, "What does America mean to you?" I just wanted to know how the people at the school felt. And I had kids coming up to me telling me that they were going to kirk me. I mean,
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah, it's awful.
I want to just say too, like, I may not politically agree with you, but I really respect you talking about your political opinion, because I think this type of table conversation is really rare and hard to find nowadays.
And something that I will always say when people make comments about, their feelings about our country, I'll say, listen, like, you can love a country. Some of the best things you can do also is to criticize it simultaneously.
And yet, when it comes to voting, we have some statistics here. In the 2024 presidential election, Gen Z had the lowest voter turnout compared to other generations. Is it important to you, and did you vote?
I work the polls. I enjoy doing it because I can be part of a system that allows us to, allow the people to have control and a say in the government. I don't think you can really complain about things going on and not cast your vote.
Your generation grew up with mass shootings, school shootings, COVID, this rise of division that a lot of people see. Do you all feel disheartened by what's to come, or are you hopeful?
With the rise of Mayor Mamdani, who I believe is like someone that I think is able to talk to everyone in all the political spectrum, and having more people in political office with that type of mindset does kind of give like a hope.
As an American Jew, I think the rise in anti-Semitism has been staggering and startling. I think that it's challenging for me because like I've been nervous to wear a Star of David around the city. Someone came up to me not that long ago on the street, not a member of Gen Z, so they were comfortable approaching me and saying, wow, you're really brave for wearing that.
I will say, to that point, I feel like people are getting more bold in what they say from online talk. They see that a lot of other people share their racist views, and then they think, okay, this is a legitimate view that I don't need to be quiet about. We do have a history of bouncing back and going through rough times and times getting better. But I feel like in order to do that, our generation has to step up to the plate, come together, because a lot of the issues are made worse because we're divided.
I agree with that. I'm jaded but hopeful.
You're jaded but hopeful.
Yeah, I think it's a weird time right now, and I do think propaganda on social media has played a huge part in our political divide. There's billions of dollars being invested by other countries into our country to make us feel this destabilized, for the record. But I'm not saying it from a place of like there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just saying like we have to be aware because it's our job to push that in a different direction.
I agree very much. I think it's all very concerning, the future as a whole is, and what we see online. It's very easy to lose hope. But at least in my own personal life, I wanted to have a say. I wanted to be the change that we all say we want to be.
Every generation has had its ups and downs. I'm sure people going through World War I or II or the Great Depression thought this is the end of life. And then things got better. And then it got worse and then better. So I think there is hope at the end of the tunnel.
Hold up your art. Let me see what you guys.
What
is this?
Okay, I did a laundry mat because I was talking about my mom and growing up, like my job, part of my job with her was to do laundry for the family.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, mountains, right?
Yeah.
I also downloaded
Yes.
trying all the colors.
Oh yeah, New York Knicks.
Nixon 4.
Nixon 4. I was about to say that.
Michael,
Yeah.
I love that.
I didn't get to finish. I wanted to add an American flag and me and my girlfriend as well. And I was going to title it My American Dream.
I think you two need to
Okay, wait.
go to
Are
art
you in art
majors.
school? What is this?
No,
This is-
you know when you have like the one thing you draw growing up, it's a flower. I
Yeah, it's always a flower.
I would always.
And then what do you got there?
I'm very self-conscious of my
Stop it.
What is this? Is a
Our
person?
keys.
No, this was supposed to be a fire hydrant.
Picasso could never.